What up, y'all? Welcome to Rubber Duck Thursdays. We're starting this series today. It's going to be a weekly stream where we write code, we talk about stuff, and we got ducks. This music is really distracting, though. I might have to stop because I'm about to do it. How are y'all doing? How's your January going so far? I've got all of these ducks down here, but I also have more. Ready? Set? Check them out. I made them all like so they're slightly turning so they can be like, I have words to say about tech, and you're gonna hear them. So anyway, yeah, there was an earlier stream. So if you are, for example, on a time zone where right now is very late for you, there's another stream that happens on a more friendly, quote unquote, time zone for you. And so that one was at, oh my goodness, time zones are very hard. It was at 4:30 a.m. my time, which was how many hours ago? 7 hours ago? 7 or 8 hours ago. Whatever that time is, we have it written down somewhere, and it's also on the Twitch schedule, and we're gonna do some more publishing and stuff so you're aware. But if this time is inconvenient for you, for whatever reason, there's options. But anyway, yeah, minus 8-ish. But anyway, how y'all doing? Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what questions you have. Because what I'm going to be working on today is an open source project. It's actually just a project of mine that I've open sourced. But I want to show you some of the things that you can do with Copilot, GitHub Copilot. And then there's also some things that I want to add to my repo that I didn't know was actually possible. And I'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, we're going to, I have a tech podcast called The Rubber Ducky Effect. Wow, you're meant to be here. Welcome, Victor. That's fun. Correct, Sanjay. I think around those times UTC. I think. I once again am bad at time zones and should have this up in my noggin. But again, it's the first time we're doing this, and we're going to be doing this every week on both time zones, so it should be fun. Hey, yeah, I do have a Monday newsletter. If y'all want to subscribe to my newsletter, I'll chill it later. But I do have a newsletter if you want to check it out. Or that's my website. You can find it there. But anyway, we're going to be talking about code. We're going to be doing some open source. We're going to be doing some Copilot stuff. And once again, there's some things I didn't know that you could do in GitHub, which I should know because I work here. But you learn something new every day. And we also have a question here. You want questions? How come when I fixed 10 test failures, I suddenly have 500 new tests failing? I think that's called progress. And I'm sorry. That sucks. Can you give some tips to enhance your skills in 2025? Sure. Can you be more specific? What skills do you want to enhance? Because we're all about enhancing skills here. I could enhance your speaking skills, your coding skills, your question asking skills, whatever you want. But please ask what skills. What skills? But I also see this question. What is this about? This is about open source. We want to be in our open source community, showing how we code things, how we use GitHub to build things at GitHub, and also just stuff in general. And I know that as we do this weekly, we're probably going to have a bit more of like a schedule, what a concept, and things that we want to touch on. But I purposely want it to be more guided by what you all want to hear, because I have some ideas of things I want to work on, things I want to show off. But if you are more curious about something else in the open source universe, some hot takes, things like that, I'd love to know. Joking skills? Oh, we can work on joking skills. I do think I actually wrote a blog post on improving joking skills, so I'm actually happy to go to that. Mario is new to GitHub and you're excited to understand it? That's awesome. Yeah, no, GitHub is a tool that I've used for what feels like eternity, my whole career, and it has been such an awesome tool to work with, and now that I get to work on it, it's even better. It's been great. But anyway, you wanna do some coding? So I was showing off the duck background I made earlier. I made more. I had so much fun just doing things with ducks. Check this out. Quack, quack, quack. I also have another one where if I share my screen, which I should have done this before I started, but it is okay. Do, 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 do. Okay, so if I pull my screen up, I can make it so the ducks are looking at the screen. um, this is the power of technology, people, enabling us to do silly little things every single day. Why a rubber duck instead of an octocat? Great question. We also have octocats, but if you don't know what a rubber duck is in tech, like how we talk about it, rubber duck debugging is a concept where when you are running into a problem with your code, when you're trying to figure out, hey, how do I do X, Y, and Z? Sometimes if you just talk it out with an entity like a rubber duck, you can end up solving the problem by just talking it out. My toddler has stolen my rubber ducks, but I do have a ceramic one on my desk that my grandpa made, and so that is my current little companion there. But anyway, that's what Rubber Duck Thursdays is about. We're gonna debug together, chat together, and all that jazz. Um, actually, oh, hello. How are you? Um, I've always been interested in contributing to open source projects. What's a good way to get started? Love that question because there's so many good ways to get started. You could get started by just helping triage issues. So many open source projects have issues where the maintainers who are already core contributing to the project, they don't know if it's a real bug or not. Being able to just say, hey, I was able to confirm this. This is a real bug. This is probably the labels that it should have or something. So helpful. And that's just a non-code contribution one. A lot of repositories also have what are called good first issues, and you could search for those there. And so one of them, for example, what is it called? HomeKit, I think. One second while I Google it to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Hang on one second. At GitHub Universe, the moment it hits me, I'm going to be like, well, duh. There was an open source organization that had something wild like 20,000 contributors last year, and they won an award at GitHub Universe. Maybe I'll read the recap to try to find what it was. It was HomeKit, Home something. This is not very helpful, but anyway, they are a really good example of getting started, and I just need to remember what was their name. I should have this. And I'm sure one of my Home Assistant, Anthony, you're a wonderful guy. Home Assistant. Thank you. Home Assistant is this cool open source org. We're building open source home assistants and stuff, but check out their open source repo. One second while I pull it up. And I'm going to actually paste it in the chat here. You can check it out. Thank you, Daniel. Thank y'all for helping me, my word. But anyway, in Home Assistant, look at that. They have 2.9K issues. Do you see that? Let me zoom in a little more. That's almost 3,000 issues on this repo. They need people to take care of these issues. That's so many, and you can filter by the different labels in here. And once again, they have so many labels. That's amazing. Good first issue. Aha! Look at that. When I click good first issue, they've already got some here where it's like, this is a good first issue for you to take on and fix. Yes, there's only 3 of them currently, but there's always new good first issues, whether it's writing tests. I see Patchy in the chat said they started doing translations. Translations is an awesome one if you know another language and that open source repo isn't in that language for whatever reason. Offering translations, that's huge. So anyway, there's a lot of options for you to get involved in open source. And I think looking at those good first issues and also generally just thinking, what are some projects that I use that I care about that I might be able to help with? Where, for example, I'm particularly interested in like the cross between web dev and game development. I think it's very, very interesting. And so there's projects like Phaser.js, for example. So it's a web-based library for making games, looking to see what issues are in there, where as a user of the library, I can say, oh, I know where there are hiccups, where there could possibly be improvements, and you could see what are the what's the current roadmap, what's going on, and just kind of see where you can help. And a lot of these repositories also have like contributing guidelines and stuff too that might be useful as well. Let's see. Oh, there are so many other questions. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. I am catching up to all of the questions. Super random. Am I using StreamYard? Yes. Removing duplicate files. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm so glad you like the rubber ducks. I think they're so cute, right? Our design team made just 3D models of rubber ducks and said, hey, use this on stuff. And I'm obsessed with them. I think we need to sell them in the GitHub shop, but we'll do that later. We'll do that later. Let's see. What are some other questions? Oh, by the way, this is the Home Assistant URL. I put it in the chat. Let's see. Okay. You do Python. Hey, Andrea, what's up? We should have rubber ducks everywhere. Ooh, you're working on a rename and a rebrand project for a client. That's a big lift. Those kinds of lifts get huge. I think they're very fun because it's fun to rebrand, whether it's yourself or a company, but it can get kind of hardcore for sure. Okay, so I have this repo here, and this is the one that I was thinking about working on. It is my blog template. So I promise I'm not trying to show my own blog, but I'm just going to show it really quick. Look, it's my blog. Here it is. So it's a very, very basic blog on purpose. It's a static website built with Astro. And you can check out the posts I've written. They're all written in Markdown. Thank you, Chris, so much. The other time for the other time zone was 10:30 GMT. Should have had that in my head. Anyway, this is it. This is my blog. It's no huge deal. Outside of this actual like front page that you see right here with the posts and various pages and links to stuff, it also has an admin panel. And that admin panel uses Tina CMS. And so you can go in here, and you can't do this. I can do this because it auths with GitHub. You can edit blog posts in here. And so that blog post I just showed you of CSS tricks, it has your title, the slug description, tags, and then it has a rich text editor, and then also this Markdown editor right here. So this is how my website works. Once again, not trying to shill it, but just to explain it, it's fully open source. And so if you want to use this template for yourself, I'll paste a link to it in the chat and I'll share it here. Bam. So this is the link to it. And so you can have it, use it, make your own website if you don't have one. if you do actually want to use it, you could click use this template in the upper right-hand corner here. I'll zoom in so you could see. Ooh, I don't like how that button went around. I'm going to file an issue later. Anyway, you could click use this template, create a new repository, or open it in CodeSpace, and voila, make your own blog using that. And so I tried to make it relatively simple to set up. And so if you were to scroll to the README, you can see, oh, it has light mode and dark mode as well. If you want to use this template, you connect it to your chosen hosting provider. I have Netlify on there just because that's what I typically use for a lot of things. You deploy it, you make an account at tina.io to set up Tina CMS, you add your keys, you update your config, bam, 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 all of these steps to be able to set up your blog and make it work and live. Voila, that's how it works. What I want to do is make it easier for someone to submit issues and do things. If you have any requests for the template, that sort of thing. One of my coworkers taught me about this past week. I didn't know it was possible. You can make custom / commands that you can use in repositories for comments or making issues and stuff. And I thought that was a very cool thing. And so I was thinking about making a / command for this repository. Let me know if you have questions about it so far. I'm trying to kind of explain all of it. Hey, Asia, what's up? Genesis, hey. So anyway, that is the gist. Gist. That's a GitHub pun. Huh. Oh wait, nice. You just switched accounts. Killing it. Sup. I have my blog in just markdown files and a JSON in the repo, and it's kind of tedious. Yeah. I mean, I think you can just do that. You can just have a pile of markdown files. That's basically what this is. It's just nice to use something like Tina where it helps organize it for you. Why I particularly like Tina, first of all, it's open source. Love that. But then also it is very Git based. And so you have your configuration and it's all just, it's a JSON object of, hey, what do you want in each post? And so I have a title, slug, description, tags, and then you can update whatever tags you want, and then like the actual text itself. But if for whatever reason I'm like, I don't feel like using the CMS, I can just add a markdown file to my posts folder. And so this one, for example, just has a hello world one, but you can just add a markdown file and Tina will respect that. And so this is what the core template looks like without any customizations or anything. And so voila, it's beautiful. That's what this is. So anyway, that's why I like it. That's why I use it. And that's what we will be updating. Mine is Hugo Markdown and hosts on GitHub Pages. So nice. Yeah. Are you maintaining the 11T variant of the blog? I'm sticking it all in this Astro version. I think 11T is an awesome framework, but when you spread yourself too thin, it's hard to keep track of everything. And so I just have the Astro version. And I could talk a little bit about Astro too. I can't help but think of you whenever I say it depends. It does depend indeed. I definitely said that to an executive today. So it's something I'm going to stick with. It takes forever to build my website every single time, and I'm not getting paid hourly for updating my own site. Yeah, such a thing. I admit why I got the whole like CMS set up and everything was because I wanted it to just work fast where I could write something and ship it and not have to think. Do I have a CI set up or anything? Oh, you're not talking to me. You're talking to one of the chat people. So I'm going to let them respond. But anyway, we can get actually into the code. You're between Astro and 11T now. Well, let me show you a little bit of Astro because I can show you some of the code under the hood and you can decide if it's something that you like. Because what I particularly like about Astro is that it's basically just HTML plus stuff. And it feels really, really nice. And so whenever you make an Astro project, it starts with an index.astro page. as you can see, this looks a whole lot like HTML, huh? With a little bit more oomph. So when you write Markdown, you often have what's called front matter at the top of a given Markdown file. And that's what these little gates are right here, these 3 dashes. And in Astro, it basically means, hey, if you want to import any components or anything inside of your Astro website, just put it inside of this front matter, and then you can import it and use it. And so it kind of lets you do the concept of partials if you were ever a handlebars user or anything back in the day. People still use handlebars, right? I used it relatively recently. Anyway, or nunchucks. It allows you to do something like that. And so, for example, in this blog, I have a component for the About section. I also have all of my most recent posts are hosted in here. If I were to go to the Home Posts component, I just have a folder of all of the components over here. Let me know if I need to zoom in more. Home Posts, in the front matter, it pulls in all of the posts from it's astro.props. It's getting things from the posts folder. I can explain that a little bit more. Sorts it by date, and then it generates an HTML list of links to the posts. It's honestly pretty straightforward. What I really like about, in my opinion, and so take that with a grain of salt, but what I really like about Astro is that it feels like a return to really old school web development. And I like that, where you can just use plain old JavaScript, but it has like JSX like syntax if you want to. And then what's also nice about Astro is there's a pretty good ecosystem around it. And so if I were to pull up my package JSON, as you can see, I didn't actually install much. I have Astro for just the framework itself, and then Prettier for formatting. But then these two are just libraries in the ecosystem for generating an RSS feed and generating a sitemap, and then Tina CMS for the CMS. And so for the RSS feed, for example, it is one single file where I get all of my posts, sort them, and then I say, okay, the title, description, and then all of the metadata for that post. And so I get like the title, the publication date, the description, and all that. And then it just generates the whole RSS feed for me, which is really, really nice. Yeah, I miss the simplicity of PHP includes. That's exactly what Astro feels like. But it's also, again, it generates HTML and CSS. And also the JavaScript it runs is opt-in, which I really like too. And so you can make it where it's like the HTML or the JavaScript doesn't load until it's visible, until the component's visible on the page. And so I could say if I want like a counter component that where you can click the buttons and things move, I don't want the actual JavaScript to load until the counter is visible on the page. Otherwise, I want it to stay static. It does that for you magically. It's very, very nice. Yeah, and you can use whatever framework or front end framework you want with it. And so you can use React with it, Vue, Preact, Svelte. There's a bunch of other things. I promise I'm not paid by them or anything. I just really like Astro, and that is how I built the site and stuff. And what I'm happy about with the GitHub side of things, as I bring it back to messing around with it with like Copilot and stuff, it recognizes it as a framework and can take in the context, and it's nice for it to have those kinds of completions understood. Does that make sense? Let me know if you all have any other questions. I'm very happy to answer them. It also is very Markdown friendly. And so you might notice, for example, I have an About component right here that I import somewhere. Where did I import About? Oh, right here. Import content as About. The reason why it's importing content as About, that's just a syntax thing, is because About is just a Markdown file. And so you could just import Markdown into any Astro component, and it generates the HTML for that. And so that is how generally the posts are generated. It generates the HTML out of the box for you. Do you use Node.js to build the sites in GitHub Actions, or is there another way to build the site to its static form? I did nothing to touch the build. The build is all very specifically done with Astro Build, when I do npm run build, it builds the CMS and it builds the Astro site, and it's done. And it actually goes pretty fast, which is another reason why I like Astro. The build speeds, it uses Vite under the hood. I can add a post, and I have a fairly large number of posts because I've been blogging since like 2009 and imported everything into my blog. I think the entire site is done JavaScripting the CMS and everything in less than a minute. So it's very, very nice and fast. So I didn't have to do any node scripting. This is the command, and that is it. I will not talk about better data pipelines today, but we could talk about it some other time. And I love that question, and I'll make a note of that for next time. Allô du Québec. Bonjour. I do not speak French. That's all I've got. Merci. Oui. Okay. Anyway, so you've seen generally how it works. And what I would like to do is, once again, I want to generate a slash command for the repository itself. And so I'm going to move this window over here just for a second so you can see what I'm talking about. So slash commands allow you to just basically give your users and open source contributors forms that they can use. And so it sounds generic until I explain it a little bit better. I truly learned about this last week, that it exists, and I've never built one before. So I'm very glad that once again, I have tools like a Copilot or something to help me know how it exists. But what you're supposed to do is, inside your .github folder, which all repos have a magical .github folder if you haven't used one before, there's a commands directory, and you can put that command in the repository and ship it, and it should just work to enhance how your issues work. And so in this particular folder right now, all that I have in there is a funding.yaml, because I was like, hey, maybe people will sponsor my GitHub stuff. And so like GitHub sponsors and Patreon and stuff. But in that .github folder, you can put in issue templates. You can put in pull request templates. One of the things in particular that I've been doing lately in a lot of my repositories is making a, I think it's called Copilot instructions.md. I think that's what the file is supposed to be called. I am going to confirm that really quick before I sound like an authority. Copilot instructions.md file. Yeah, that. You can add custom instructions for GitHub Copilot now, and it just works. And so, yes, it is copilot-instructions.md. I'm going to paste the docs in here. And what is nice about this is you can say, hey, I want all of your auto completions, or when I talk to you in the chat or whatever, I want you to adhere to these custom instructions. And so that's something that I've been doing in a lot of my repositories lately, where in these custom instructions, for example, I could say, whenever you create a new Astro file, or I'll do a new .astro file. Oh, look at that. You should create an astro.md file with the same name. Oh, that's fun. I don't want that autocomplete, Copilot, but I appreciate it. I want you to add front matter syntax like so at the top that always imports the base head component. And so, oh, you know what? I'm just going to let it autocomplete. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Perfect. Yay. And also, do I have this? Okay, I don't have this set up. Ignore me. That was me just checking something. Anyway, I can say that. And now whenever I tell Copilot, hey, I want you to generate a new file for me, it will do this for me. And it's kind of nice, right? And so I could also say, like, I want you to import my about page, or I want you to import the header or something like that. It will just do it. I wonder if I could make a template that would make some issues from GitHub function as comments. Ooh, maybe. I think so. That's an interesting question. Um, is that similar to the templates that appear in issues and pull requests? Yes, the slash commands that I mentioned. I promise we'll get back to that. Um, let me know if you have questions on custom instructions while I go through the other questions that are in the chat over here. If I understand correctly, Astro could be used with other frameworks like React or Angular, but I'm not sure how to get the specific scenario you would go for using Astro. Okay, I'm going to do, this is a bit of a tangent, but I do think it's very worth explaining because it's important. The way websites are rendered, you often have, there's like single page applications where everything is rendered on the client side. You have server side rendering where everything is rendered as soon as you ping the server, or you have a static site where everything is bundled together as one and then it's served via a CDN of some kind of content delivery network. With Astro, what you can do is you can say, okay, I want everything to be mostly just HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That's what this blog template is. Basically just HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but it compiles all the pages together. So Astro is the framework that does that compilation of all the pages together, and it also does like page-based routing, where you could say, okay, whenever I create a file in this folder, it creates a route. Or whenever I create a component and import it in here, it just works. If you wanted to use something like a React or an Angular, let's just say on my blog page specifically, on this page, on the home page, I wanted to just be this. But when I go to the posts page, I wanted to have a counter component that also uses WebGL, that also interacts with the user in some way. I might make that component that's very, very interactive in React because React is more of a reactive library of sorts. You can selectively say, I just want React here and I don't want it anywhere else on the website. That will make your builds significantly faster when you ship the website because you only have React in a very small part. And when you run the website, it will only run it in that very small part. So it just makes your website a little bit more efficient, both at build time when the website is built statically, assuming, or at runtime when the user is actually hitting your website. Does that make sense? Can I use Astro as Svelte? Yes, you can. You can add whatever Svelte components you want in there. I admit I'm not very experienced in Svelte, so I don't know how it works fully, but I know I've seen people use it, so yes. I feel like Astro is a good default when you don't have a specific reason to choose something else. Exactly. Okay, so anyway, does the import instruction also work when you create a new Astro file? Yeah, so here, I will do an example really quick with the custom instructions, and we'll see if it works, because we're doing it live. So let's just say I want to open up Copilot Chat, which, by the way, I gotta do my little plug as an employee. GitHub Copilot is now free. If you want to use it, you should. I'm not allowed to say the numbers, but a lot of people never hit their usage limits. And so it's a pretty generous free tier. It's not a free trial. Use it. Check it out. It's fun. Okay. So anyway, there's Copilot Chat in here where I could like highlight something and say, hey, can you explain this code to me, or something like that. But up here, there is a little edits panel, and it allows you to do multi-file editing. So you can edit multiple files with Copilot, and it'll do that for you. And you confirm things before you ship it. And so what I could do inside of here is I have the working set. Inside the working set, you could say, hey, I want these to be the files that you edit. Or you could say, I just want you to make something new. In this particular example, I could say, I want you to create a new page in the SRC. I know it's really small, so I'm going to say it out loud. I want you to create a new page in the SRC pages directory that is a file called rubberduck.astro. In that file, I want to show a heading that says welcome to Rubber Duck Thursdays. And I'll just leave it at that. I there you go. So create a new page and let's do it. And so, did it do it? I'll help you create a new page for Rubber Duck Thursdays. Okay, cool. But did you make the page? That is the question. Normally you just make the page for me, GitHub. You know what? It didn't make the page, but hey, it gave me the details that I needed. The joy of working with AI and why you know this is fully live is when things don't fully work and they're non-deterministic, you just kind of roll with it. But I'm actually just going to copy this and see. Oh, I can apply it. Does that work? Applying it. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's because I have this working set right here. It thinks that it wants it. It thinks that I want this in the chat. You know what? It's fine. That was on me. I was being vague. I'm just going to create this file myself and call it rubberduck.astro and paste this in here. And we're going to run it and see if it worked. It should, because this is very basic HTML, but you know, we gotta prove it. Anyway, well, am I a poser if I ask Copilot to explain my code? No. I feel like that is a very normal, healthy thing to do, to ask something to explain your code to you, because you would do that with a coworker. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that with a tool at your disposal? What are the thumbs up and thumbs down icons? Is that for feedback? Yes. And so I'm actually going to be thumbs downing it because it didn't follow the instructions, and now it knows that it should do better next time. Where is this? Okay. Localhost 4321. Nice. Okay, cool. So this is the local thing, and I think I called that Rubber Duck. So if I go to my localhost /Rubber Duck, something should have happened. And let's find out. It generated the head and the body. Why aren't you doing the thing? Oh, it's probably because I didn't save the file. That would do it. That would do it, y'all. Let's see if it generated it now. Aha! Check it out. Welcome to Rubber Duck Thursdays. And you know especially why it works. The font is correct and the style, like the styling is the same. It has a background color. That's because it imported the correct component. Haha! I've done something completely basic. This is good for production. Am I right? Yeah, no, I know I need to do autosave. The thing is, and this is something that I like about Copilot in general. And so I'm going to sound like a shill, but this is also why I don't have autosave. I have a problem with control. I love controlling every single aspect of my setup, where if I wanted to use Copilot in like a different editor, I can. If I want to have autocomplete or autosave on or toggle it on or off, I can. I never have autosave on because I don't trust it. I've been burned before too many times by this device right here. Yes, I have a Game Boy within reach. You never know. Anyway, I like to save things multiple times by myself. And so that is why I didn't do it. And once again, I like adding things like custom instructions and various other things so that way I can have control. So anyway, yes, old school. That's me. Does Copilot do websites so far? Copilot does any code base. It learns your code base and does things with you. And so, for example, we had a version of Rubber Duck Thursdays a few hours ago, GMT 10:30 a.m., where it was working on the GitHub Skyline CLI. And that CLI tool, I think it's written in Go? ? It is not restricted by language. I just personally like doing the website of things. I have autosave and I still spam Control and Command S. That's right. That's right. I thought it was bad to use AI, but in this case, Copilot, I guess, was no different than when we use Google's to find answers and fixes. Yeah, no, and that's something where I I think using something like a Copilot, once again, I'm going to sound like such a shill, especially because I work here. But I think what I really like about it is it doesn't just make stuff up for you. Like if I were to use one of the various chat AI tools on the internet without me specifying the names, um, when you do that, you're basically just saying, "Hey, give me the answers and think for me, please and thank you." But with a tool like Copilot, once again, because I'm a person who likes control, I can say, "Oh, I want to accept these changes, decline these changes. I want you to specifically use these components as a reference when you build another component. I want you to only use my code base and my workspace or whatever." And so you can specify the context that it uses, and then it also works alongside you rather than replacing you by just giving you a blob and you accept it, you know? Okay, so anyway, made this page using Copilot. It was a little bit janky, but we made it happen. And so something that now that I've done this and you can see like how the custom instructions work and how this magical GitHub folder does things, I am now going to actually do what I said I was going to do earlier and make a commands folder. And then in that commands folder, that is where I want to put my slash command, where once again, I've never made one before. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try. And so let me just get rid of that page. And we're going to go back to commands. Okay, so I'm just going to go through. Actually, I could probably ask Copilot this. How can I make a slash command for this particular GitHub repo for someone to write an issue for me properly? I'm curious, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Oh, so it's just telling me to create an issue template. That makes sense. That's probably the way that I should be doing it. Oh, but when someone comments create issue on any issue or pull request, the GitHub action will trigger and create a new issue using the defined template. Oh, that's nice. Okay. That's not what I want to do, but I like that I know that. Because I think I asked it the wrong question, but it gave me a really interesting answer. So I know that you can create issue templates in your GitHub repo, and that will work, and define it as an issue template. But I specifically want to do something, excuse me while I go in here, where it's more like responding to a comment, where maybe it'll be more useful for triaging issues. It'll be, let's just say there's an issue that exists on the repo. I want someone to be able, like me, let's just say, I want to be able to say, validated that this is an actual issue. This is the steps that I'm going to fix it. Here we go. Something like that. Yeah, I think that's how I want to think about it. So excuse me while I live ideate in front of you. Let me know if I don't make sense. Hang on, let me see some of these comments. How do I import 3D stuff into my HTML pages? Chances are you're going to want to use a library like Three.js. You can also use AI to use tedious things faster without needing to do any sort of macros or other stuff. Yes. I can't tell you how many utility functions where I've said like, this regex validates this string or something, and it creates it for me, and I don't have to think about if I'm using a star or a dot or whatever bracket syntax. I have developed this habit of waiting for Copilot to generate the autocomplete, even if I could have typed the same at a shorter time period. You know, sometimes you just don't feel like moving your fingers. Am I right? Okay. So anyway, I want to do this slash command. And oh, that's nice. It redirected to the 404 when I got rid of that rubber duck page. I'm so glad when things work. Okay. So in the commands directory, I add a YAML file in here. That file defines how to use a slash command and how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to make a slash command in here, and I'm going to call it triage.yaml. Yeah, I'm sticking with it for now. We're sticking with it for now. We're doing it live, people. Okay, so let's see, you can use the following YAML file or it displays the menu. The user can select a project, displays a form. Yeah, the whole form thing was what was really cool. So I wanted to do a drop down of being just like yes, maybe later, no type thing, and go from there. There's so much scope creep in my head. One thing at a time. What one thing at a time. Okay, so we have the trigger name, we have the title of it, and we have the description. And surfaces. Oh, surfaces is interesting. I bet surfaces is where this can happen. So it can be on an issue, a pull request, or a discussion. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I might want to have it on issues and discussions specifically. Or maybe I could have it on all three. Nope, one at a time. Cassidy, focus. And then the tasks you want the slash command to perform. It can do up to 25 of them. This is so fun. Okay, so I am going to copy these first. And all developers copy, am I right? We're going to call it the triage command, or we're going to call it triage issue. And we're just going to keep it on issues for now. And be just like, explain the status of your triaging this particular issue. There's probably better words I could use in this particular case. And then the next part is steps. And so this is where I kind of want to see what Copilot would come up with for me, because I was thinking I would just do like red light, yellow light, green light, and a comment. But there's probably something cooler that we could do, right? Okay, so I'm going to clear this and start over. Okay, so this is my working set. My working set is this triage.yaml file. I want to say add steps to this file so that when a maintainer responds to an issue with this slash command, it offers a drop down of red, yellow, or green circle emoji to indicate the status, and a short description field of the work that has been done to triage it. Let's see what it does. Okay. Ooh, I love watching it work in real time. Look at that. Wow. Do you think that would just work? I hope it does, because I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, and you can make things required. That's nice. Cool. This looks right? Okay, let's just accept it. Let's just do that. This seems good. There's so much reading involved in this life. I feel that so much. Okay, so if you aren't building your own compiler or your own operating system, we all stand on the shoulders of giants. Very true. There was one very cocky moment in my life where I was like, I'm going to be so arrogant. I'm going to only work on a computer I build, on an operating system I build, and everything will be fully bespoke. And then I learned that my time is valuable, and I stopped that thought from never entering my brain again. Okay, so I am going to commit this and try it. Let's see. Git status, GitHub commands. Okay, let me just make sure that's the only one. Okay, git commit, add triage command for issues. I'm so curious to see if this will work. Truly, just once again, the joys of doing something live. You never know, but it should be fun, right? Okay. Pushed it. Let's check out the repo. Okay. And it says, okay, we've added the triage command for issues. There it is. I'm going to just go to an issue. This is something that I also wanted to do today, but we might not have time. Okay. Does it work? Slash triage? No? Dang it. No. Okay, it didn't work. That's okay. I don't know what I'm doing. But did you know that you could do these slash commands? Once again, I did not, and I've been using GitHub for my entire career. But look, you could say like, oh, I want a tip. This is a tip. Oh, look how cute that is. So nice. Hello, welcome to the stream. I just pushed something that didn't work, and I don't know why it didn't work. And so I'm going to try to figure that out. But it generated something cool. And so that's something. Okay, so let's look at this really quick. We have the trigger, we have the title, we have the description, the services, and the steps. And then the next thing is the type, and it has an ID, label, description, and options. Oh, did I do that right? That seems right, but it also doesn't. Do you see that? How there's this might be, maybe it's supposed to be in a form. That might be the problem. But would that make it not work entirely? For each value in the steps array, you can set the type key to one of the following. Aha! It didn't do it correctly. Bad, Copilot. Okay, you messed up. I'm going to add that part of the docs actually into the chat here and just say, do this for me. Each value in the steps array can only have the keys fill, form, menu, and repository dispatch. Should have looked at this before. It's fine. We're making it work. Please fix the steps to be populating a form. Cool. And with luck, it'll just do it for me, and I won't have to do anything. Yes, I love not doing things. Okay. The politeness. I know. You got to be polite to AI because you never know when it'll turn on you. Mm-hmm. That's dark. I shouldn't make jokes like that. But also, I've seen enough movies, you know? Copilot was so confident and also so wrong, just like me. Okay. Let's see. And I love that it shows a diff too. So it shows what it's deleting and what it's adding. Okay, so it's getting rid of the drop down and the text area here, but it's putting it in a form. Okay, so we have a form and then the fields in that form. So far, this looks correct. I would like to blindly accept these changes, but I'm just going to check the docs one more time because I've learned my lesson. Okay, so it has that type menu. Okay, whatever, type form. The form style embedded. I don't see the style in there, so I might add that myself. And then it has a body. Oh yeah, so it has fields. Okay, hang on. There's probably docs for this. Aha, nice. Okay. It has style, body, actions. Okay. I am going to say, okay, we're getting there. This is closer. I like to encourage the AI first. This is more of like a prompt engineering trick where I'm like, okay, you're on the right track. I don't know if it actually does much of a difference, but it helps iterate things. We should put GitHub Copilot in control of a spaceship. Doing that hasn't failed ever. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's see. This is closer. The form should have only a style, body, and actions field. Let's see. Do I need styles? Oh, you can have it be embedded. Okay. Yeah. I want the style field to be set to embedded. The fields to be in the body and the action to have a submit button. Let's see. Am I right? uh, in my experience, that helps the AI understand it shouldn't rewrite the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. Where you're just like, okay, this is a step in the right direction. Honestly, once again, it feels like pair programming with a human. um, let's see. How do you make of use of Copilot with code from GitHub on VS Code? That is literally what I'm doing right now. So hopefully this is a useful thing to watch. Okay, let's look at it now. Okay, so we finally got the embedded thing. We were getting rid of the old stuff, so we still have the stuff that we want to keep. Inside steps, we have a form, style embedded. Body has the status drop down, and then the description drop down, and then the action. This looks correct. Once again, gonna check the docs really quick before I hit accept. Let's see. Style seems good. Let's see, GitHub's form schema. I'm gonna just look at that really quick. Okay. Does it need a name? I don't think it needs a name, so I'm going to take out the name part. Actually, let me just accept this. We'll say that you did a good job for now, Copilot. You're on probation. Okay, so it doesn't actually need a name, so I'm going to take that out. Okay, it does have a type, and so we did the type drop down. And then, does it need a label? Oh, that's under attributes. Okay, so type drop down, and then it's under attributes. I'm just going to do this myself. I know how to code, right? Attributes. Do you count YAML as coding? I feel like this is treading that fuzzy line of, but it's at least configuring. I'm going to call it coding. Yeah. Let's see. So inside the attributes, that's where we put the label. Okay. So attributes, label, triage status, then the description, and then options. Okay. This is very hard to do with such a small window. Let me just move the tree out here. Okay. So we've got attributes with the label, description, and options. And then it looks like the options also don't have a label. You just kind of do it, which I'm okay with. But let me just check the syntax. Validations for... Okay, cool. So we're just going to get rid of the value. Feels like an accessibility thing, but currently that is not our problem. Okay. And then from here, the name description, we don't need the name. It'll be a type text area. Once again, we're going to have attributes on it. And then the attributes will have a label, description. And then, oh, it's under validations for required is true. You know what? I'm not going to make required true because I don't feel like it. Okay. So I think that's all I need for the text area. Label, description. Oh, a placeholder would be nice. I'll do a placeholder. So label, description, placeholder value. I'm just going to say placeholder. It's good. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what to put in here. I'm just gonna say, example. I started validation on this by ... How about that? Okay. Cool. And then actions. Let's see. I want to see, is actions in here? That is in the previous page. Actions. Submit button, a label to put on the submit button. So I think I truly just do actions and then submit. And then in submit, I'll say describe. What I'll just put triage. We're just calling it that. Okay, I think this is correct. Copilot got me most of the way there. Had to go to the docs for some of this. Let's just commit it. Let's see if it works. Drop-down options doesn't seem to have a label. Oh, did I miss that? Thank you for noting that. Oh yeah, so it's truly just the option string. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay. We're getting rid of that. We're getting rid of that. We're saving it, and we're seeing what happens. Okay. GitHub commands. Update triage command. Okay, cool. Let's see if it worked. Oh, I'm so stressed. I just want to show you a little success. Okay, cool. It looks like it worked. Let's see if it did. /triage? No. Why? Oh man. Oh, you can save replies. That's really nice actually for that stuff. Okay. Let's figure out why this doesn't work, because I think it looked pretty good. I don't know about y'all. Also, if you want to try this on your own, I'm just going to send this to you. Check out the link in the chat if you want to try to debug this yourself. Let's see. So first of all, we've put it in a .github/commands folder. Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be, right? Okay. GitHub/commands. Cool. We've got our trigger. We've got the title, description, surfaces, and then the form. I'm going to put that side by side with the docs just to take a peek. I'm sure my coworker who showed this to me before is going to be like, Cassidy, this was so easy. What are you thinking? Okay. So we have a form style embedded. Ooh, is it just a tabbing issue? Notice how this says type form and this is just form. That might be the issue. I think that's actually the issue. Okay, I'm just going to do this in line right here. Okay, so under steps, we have type form. And then everything else, I think we just scoot in here, which would be great. Let's see. Let me just confirm that. So we have steps and then, oh, we don't tab this in. I know YAML is very sensitive about tabbing, and if that is truly the only issue, I'm both disappointed, but it's fine. Okay. Type the thing. I'm just gonna say that looks good. Let's see. Body also, oh my goodness, I need to do this as well. This is me just not being comfortable with YAML. Okay. Boom. Bop. Boop-a-da-bop. I'm looking. I've been writing YAML on and off for years, and I still have no idea when indentation matters. I feel that so much right now. And I also realize that we've crossed the top of the hour, but I want to get this done. So we're going to get it done, and then we're gonna end the stream. Okay, so let's see. Body, type, attributes, blammo. That looks good. That looks good. Then the action should be at the same level as the body. That looks about right. I think that is it. And I'm going to commit it and see if it works. And see, this one has labels and values. Should I have done that? I don't actually know. I'm gonna actually just copy this. I'm gonna say that's what we do, and I'll say complete, started, not started. I'm just gonna copy it from that. Okay. Let's see, y'all. I cry. Same. I just want it to work. Okay. Cool. We have committed it. Let's see if it works. This is one of those things where it's very humbling that I have to do this live. Please, please, please. I wish I were right. And I'm not. Okay. Just YOLO deploy and hope that the whole cluster doesn't go down. I feel that. I feel that so much. I feel that so much right now. Cool. So Rubber Ducky karaoke coming up next. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Andrea. I should sing it out. Okay. I'm going to take out the actions because I don't see actions over here. And so I'm going to just assume that it's unnecessary and I don't need it. So we have the type dropdown. We have the steps. This is on the first level. Bam, bam, bam. Inside the second level of the form, where it's type form, oh my gosh, did I need to not indent this? I swear, if this is an indentation issue, I won't be violent, but I will want to be. Okay, let me just check. Okay. Type, form, style. Oh no, wait, that was fine. That was fine. Okay, okay, okay. Style, body, type dropdown, attributes. The attributes also indent in options labels. If y'all see something, please say something because we're once again doing it live. Okay. And then our options. We have the label and the value, and that is on that level. It seems to match. Then we have the type text area, which once again, same level. We have those in there. This seems fine. So do I just get rid of that submit form thing? Maybe that's just it. Okay. The body is required. The actions are not. And then, okay, this is the example form. Just checking it one more time. Example, description. Oh, surfaces is optional. That's nice. Okay. Type, form. Same level, same level. I'm so sorry if this is painful. Cass, I don't know what to tell you, but there's a duck looking at you. I know. And it's judging me. This duck up here is just like, this chick's an idiot. But once again, doing it live. YOLO is right. YOLO is right. We have the type text area. We have, you know what? I will add these actions just because it's here. We might as well. And should I just copy this form? But then it's not what we worked on this whole time. That's okay. It's fine. Cassidy, calm down. It's okay. Okay. And let's see. The actions should be on the same level as the body. So let me just, I know this is such a silly thing. I'm just checking. It is on the same level as the body. Great. Okay. Okay. I feel like this is just, we're trying it again. Just quickly test the example works. You know I should. You know I should. I'm going to try this one last time. And then if this doesn't work, I am going to just copy and paste that form. Okay. It's in. It's committed. It exists. And now I'm going to be using the example form and just figure out what went wrong. Okay. I don't understand, but it's okay. We are gonna do this your way. Bam. Okay. Copied and pasted the exact example from the docs. I'm going to rename it to what we had. I'm going to call it triage issue. I'm going to say template for responding to an issue. Everything else is the same. This label for what's the status or whatever, we're going to say status. We're going to say what is the status of triaging this issue? Complete, started, not started. Details, I forgot what I said in here, but I'm just going to say like what work has been completed so far. And just say dot, 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 whatever. What I want to do actually, I want to kind of see a diff of what the difference is, but we'll do that later. To use example form. I'm humbled, y'all. I am humbled. But theoretically, if this doesn't work, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why? I'm going to say that it's not my fault because that is literally the exact syntax. That doesn't make sense. New issue, maybe? Yeah, well, I could try to make a new issue. This is a test. No, it's still not working in here either. No, yeah, sadly, that's not it. Maybe I just don't understand slash commands. Perhaps it's been correct the entire time. No, it shouldn't be a caching thing. Here, I just did a hard refresh. Yeah, no, it's just not showing up on here. Okay, I'm going to do one more review of the docs, and then if it doesn't work, I will cry about this later, and then I'm sure I will wake up in the middle of the night and be like, duh, this is how it worked. And that's the joy of open source, am I right? You work in public, and sometimes you're like, I'm a genius. Look, I made this thing in public. And sometimes you're like, I'm a fool. I made this thing in public and it doesn't work. And now everyone can see that I'm a loser. Okay, so .github/commands/project status is their example they had here. We have .github/commands and then triage. Yeah, no, so the syntax naming is correct. Yeah, no, everything should work. So I probably did something wrong. I wonder if it's because it's in private preview and I just read this part of the docs right now, and maybe I don't actually have access to that. If that's true, that's very funny. And once again, very humbling because reading is very challenging. I'm going to say that's the issue. I probably don't have access to this, and I didn't realize that I couldn't actually do it. Yeah. Uh, skill issue. Yeah, that's probably more likely, but, I am embarrassed that I didn't know that you had to be a part of a private preview until right now. I know. Okay, but hey, I showed you Copilot stuff, right? We did some things. Eventually when it's out of private preview and everyone has access, this is just going to work. And you'll be like, "Hey, I remember that stream where Cassidy had two ducks judging her." And in that moment there, I wasn't sure if I had any faith in her, but now I know she is a somewhat okay developer. I would like that to happen, but right now I'm just feeling humbled. So, thanks for hanging out, y'all. I had a great time, even though, once again, I'm feeling very sweaty and embarrassed at the fact that I lost the ability to read at the beginning of the stream and I'm just retaining it again. But it's been a good time. Um, oh, those emojis are my face. Wow, I haven't seen that in a minute. LOL. But thank you so much for hanging out. Even though it didn't work, I still had a good time and had a fun time answering your questions. And hopefully, next week at the same time, we can work on something that actually works together. And once again, maybe I did something wrong here that has nothing to do with access. We're doing it live, and that's how you know that this is real. This is exactly, Olivia, thank you. This is how we learn. And I'm gonna figure that out later and probably lose sleep over it. Okay, but anyway, yes, we will be here again next week. This is at the same time, once again at 10:30 a.m. GMT. That's the EU time zones, UK time zones, and so if you want to do this significantly earlier in the day, I don't blame you. If you want to do this at this time, I'll be around and conscious compared to the other time. This really was the true developer experience, and that's what we're all about here. But also, one last plug. On Fridays, we have Open Source Fridays, and tomorrow is going to be really cool. Our team is going to be talking to Robbie. I'm forgetting his last name, but he works on Oh My ZSH, or Oh My Z Shell, Zosh, Zhuj. I don't know how to pronounce it. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. So come here tomorrow for Open Source Friday, and it should be a good time. Zeesh, who knows? Okay, I will see you all next time. Thank you again for hanging out, and I'll see you soon. Bye.